lot of turning traffic. It's going to have to get into the lane up ahead pretty much like real soon here. Yeah, I don't think it was going to get into the lane there, honestly. I think it would have missed getting into that lane, so I took over there and disengaged with braking because it needed to brake a little bit to get over. I apologize for the sound. We have something loose in the back seat. That is an impressive amount of stuff being visualized there. Jeez, look at that. That is an insane amount of things being tracked and visualized. And I mean, it's, you know, there's just an insane level of stuff going on right here. I mean, it's not super busy, but it's still a lot of things being tracked. It's pretty cool. Sees two cars behind me. I don't know how it's able to see two cars behind me. That's really cool. Anyhow, got to make sure I'm paying attention, because as soon as the light turns green, if I'm putzing around down here on the light, it'll probably blink at me. Alright, we should be getting the green arrow here in a second. There we are. Alright, this has always been one of the least smooth turns. Oh my god. Wow. That is so much smoother than it has been in the past. Wow. That almost felt human. Not quite. Not quite. It still has room to improve. But that almost felt human. That was so much nicer than 10.4. It was just a very smooth turn the whole time. The turning wheel was very smooth. I liked that. Yeah, coming to right turn. Green arrow should be a nice easy turn. Very nice, very smooth. Yeah, the turns feel smoother. Oh yes, it is yellow blinking. Okay, let's see what happens. It should go, and it's not, so I'm giving it some acceleration there. So, it still doesn't do yellow blinking lights correctly. Alright, approaching roundabout 1 of 4 on this round trip. Let's see how it does. Coming to a stop. I need to give it some acceleration to get through. Whoa, thought I was gonna turn off the wrong way for a second. Okay, not too bad. Not super smooth, but not too bad. Again, it was going to come to a stop, so I had to give it a little bit of acceleration there. Alright, there is currently no one behind me. Last time around in the roundabout there was someone behind me, so since there's no one behind me now, I'm going to let it fully do this on its own. It should go through with no yield. But it comes to a complete stop, enters the roundabout, and goes through. So that's what a roundabout with no intervention is like. it comes to a complete stop. There is nobody entering the roundabout, so it should have gone through without a stop. But nevertheless, it still doesn't handle roundabouts quite right. Alright, we have some pedestrians approaching the crosswalk that I need to turn into, but it looks like I will get there early enough that this won't be an issue. Alright, I should really be in that lane. Let's go, car. Come on. Okay. I'm gonna let it drive me a little further into this. I don't know why it's got a turn signal on. Alright, no, I'm not comfortable. It's getting a little too close to that. The street's a little too busy. Alright, well, I'll turn this off and I'll see you on the flip side. Alright, let's see what this thing does. This is a good speed for that speed bump. Alright, it's proceeding slowly. Alright, I'm just going to take over because this is a crazy turn here and I don't want to, there's traffic, etc. So, alright, take it over, or back to FSD. No one behind me on the roundabout, so I will let FSD Beta handle this roundabout to see if a lead car helps any. I braked a little harder than I would have expected it needed to. It can go. Come to a complete stop, which is not correct. And I'm just going to send that in for them. Not that they don't know, but you know, the rest of that handled very nicely. And then the next roundabout, I will go ahead and accelerate as appropriate to, you know, give it the other sort of feedback where it's like, I will kind of guide it and say this is how you should drive through it. Whereas that roundabout, again, that was 100% FSD. Which is pretty nice, honestly. I mean, other than the stopping, it handled the rest of it pretty nicely. Again, I have no one behind me, so it could come to a stop, but I'm not going to let it come to a complete stop if it's not an appropriate time to. So I'm giving it acceleration to push through, and I'm no longer touching anything. Okay, other than that tiny bit of acceleration, it handled that pretty well. Needs to get over. Alright, I feel like it followed that car a touch late, but not too badly. Green arrow. It's definitely taking the turns a little more smoothly. Alright, here's the two left lanes, and it generally gets in the leftmost of these left lanes, which, I mean, it's fine, it can do that, but it's not the way I would generally drive, so let's see what it does. Wow. Oh. Every time I think it's going to stay in that lane, and then at the last second it decides that it wants to get in the leftmost lane. Which is just not necessary. The next turn I'm going to be making is a right turn. Now granted, there is a large truck which might turn somewhat slowly. So, I mean, this might turn out to be in my favor, but it's certainly not the way I would normally drive this. Green arrow. Also, I just don't like being on this inside left turn lane. Okay, pretty good turn though. A little bit of a couple veers there. Keep my hand on this thing. Bit of braking. And bump the speed up just so I can make sure I can get around this car. I hope to. No, he's keeping up with me. Ought to be in the right lane by now, so I'm gonna kind of go ahead and suggest to do that. I mean, it's slowing down so slowly here. It really ought to have slowed down to 35, at least by the time that I was pointing at the screen. Coming up on a tricky turn here. And the reason this turn is tricky is because I've got angled traffic coming here and from here potentially as I make this turn. So honestly, I think this is one of the, shouldn't be turning its turn signal on just yet. This is probably one of the trickiest turns. Its turn signal I don't know why it turns its turn signal on like that sometimes. Just wants to turn it on ahead of time. Now it's fine to turn on. And now it doesn't. There we go. Alright, we have a green light, which should make this a nice, easy yield turn. Okay, giving it some acceleration because it was coming to a stop there. Oh. Alright, yeah, that was definitely not a smooth turn. The steering was fine, but the acceleration was very jerky. That was kind of nice. That car was cutting out in front of us, and it slowed down, but then its prediction was that it was going to get out of the way, and it actually started accelerating, even though the car was still in our path, because the car was able to predict that the other car was going to be out of our path by the time we got there. That was really nice. A little late getting into that turn, in my opinion. So much better making these turns. Like, it actually stayed in its lane the entire time, and it's just a much smoother experience. Left turns are definitely better. Not perfect, but better.